Hi, how are you? And welcome to the Indiegogo page for the Detroit Fest, which is a new festival that will begin in 2014 and then hopefully continue every year after that. My name is Steven. The Detroit Fest was suggested by a friend who is part organizer for a major festival in the States, and he said we should do a South by Southwest in Detroit, or whatever it will be. It will be a big show or a series of shows. And I've taken it over. His kernel of an idea, I've taken it. I want to create an epic event with diverse acts for music, art, and comedy. I also want to raise awareness for Detroit charities, mental health charities, and the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation of America. My new favorite phrase, which I've been quoting to lots of people, and friends can attest to it in the last few months. My new favorite phrase is, if you don't ask, the answer is always no. In that spirit, I am inviting renowned artists and comedians. I can't name names because the fest is not put together yet, but let's just say this fest was coming together in 1969. I would be inviting the Stooges, the Stones, the Beatles, the Jackson 5, the Supremes, Janis Joplin, Beach Boys, Dylan, Johnny Cash, Elvis Presley, Sun Ra, The Who, Silver Apples, Wendy Carlos, CCR, Pink Floyd, Deep Purple, King Crimson. Look them up. They all existed in 1969. For art, I would have asked Andy Warhol to curate the art aspect of it. And for comedy, I would ask the cast of Laugh-In, Woody Allen, Joan Rivers, to add some comedy to the mix for the Detroit Fest 1969. But for the Detroit Fest 2014, I will ask different artists, maybe some of the same artists, who knows. I want to curate a fest that is ridiculous. Ridiculous! I want to create a fest, or curate a fest, that is bonkers. Or as a friend of mine in California says, I want to create a fest that is bananas. Why not? The worst they can say is no. Plenty of artists, investors, sponsors, and donors like yourself will say yes. I want to create a festival with an eclectic mix of rock, pop, hip-hop, electronica, Americana, other musical genres that I'm not thinking of right now. Let me tell you about me really quick. I was born in Ohio. I lived outside of Detroit age 5 to 30. I got involved in college radio at Oakland University in Michigan and music journalism. I was the lead organizer for the 9 Detroit Summer Smash festivals from 1999 to 2008. For the last 8 years, I've worked in the nonprofit sector for PETA and the American Red Cross. And now, I want to make a living and making a difference in a different way, with a revolutionary music, art, and comedy festival in a great American city that I adore. But I need your help. With startup money, I have a business plan that I want to put into action. I want to incorporate the Detroit Fest soon, hire a Detroit entertainment lawyer who will help me with negotiations with artists, venues, ticket agencies, PR agencies, production companies that will need to be hired to put on the shows, video companies that will be hired to video the shows, travel costs, business operations, business expenses, and modest compensation for myself and my staff. I am conscious of money management. What I want most is to raise money for very important to me charities. First of all, I want to raise money for Detroit charities. So I'm going to create some grants that Detroit charities can apply for, some grant money. I want to support organizations that are working creatively in the city of Detroit to promote Detroit's strengths. Detroit is not a punchline to a late-night comedian's opening monologue. Detroit is a city that America would not be great without. Some of you have probably made Detroit punchlines, especially some of you not from Detroit, or have made jokes. But imagine America without Detroit. That's an America that sucks. Industry is great, but I propose that Michigan music is our greatest export of all. Jazz, Motown, classic rock, punk rock, electronica, hip-hop, modern rock. Detroit has made a huge contribution to the cultural significance of the world. Music and art, and comedy too. Funny people come out of Michigan and have done great things in comedy. In simple terms, the world would be less than it is without Michigan and Detroit. It's time to give back to and grow Detroit with new energy and opportunity. It's almost 2014, people. Or it is 2014 if you're watching this in 2014. It's time to put away the nonsense and stop making fun of Detroit. Bankruptcy happens to people and to cities. In that point, cities have challenges and people do too. It's often medical challenges. I have Crohn's disease, which is an autoimmune disease of the digestive system. So my immune system attacks my intestines. And last year I lost like 10 inches of intestine. I should be dead. People died from intestinal blockages, from Crohn's disease and ileitis and colitis and other inflammatory bowel diseases in the past. But thankfully, with modern medicine, I'm still here, trying to do some good. I want to raise awareness and money for the battle against Crohn's and colitis and inflammatory bowel diseases, which affects 20% of Americans. Up to 70% of people with IBD are not receiving treatment, which is terrible because it doesn't just cause stomachache sometimes. It causes fatigue, malnutrition. It can play a role in depression as well. Did you know most of your serotonin is in your gut? I want to raise awareness. Awareness, support, and research are the best weapons against Crohn's and colitis and all inflammatory bowel diseases. I was thinking of doing this part while sitting on a toilet, but didn't have the budget for that. But humor is important too. Half of people with IBD have depression, as I said, and Crohn's is worsened by stress. Most autoimmune diseases are worsened by stress. And guess what? We don't always have the tools that we need to manage stress, which leads to mental health and mental well-being, psychiatric illnesses that come out of Crohn's or whatever you have, if you don't have depression or mental health challenges, you certainly know somebody that does. I want to destigmatize mental illness. I just got over my own stigma. It took a long time. It took nearly 40 years for me to get over my own stigma. Forgot to put on my Detroit hat. Here it is. I've had this for 30 plus years. My mother, this is Elaine, she had schizophrenia. And last year, she spoke to some college students in Detroit about the stigma of mental illness. Her schizophrenia was a challenge. She had it, it did not have her. And the students at Wayne State University, I know, appreciated her talk. And she died a few weeks later. She died October 26, 2012. She's been gone for about a year. Or a little bit more. Love you, Mom. I miss you, Mom. You're beautiful. Look, we match. Red. As I said, she battled it valiantly. And I want to carry that torch for her. I want to continue this legacy for her. It's important. When you lose, we're all going to lose our parents at some point. And when you lose a parent, you want to continue their legacy, whatever their legacy is. The national conversation needs a big jolt. I like that mental health has become more a part of the national discussion, and the stigma about it is lessening, but it needs a big event where these things will be discussed a little bit. And every little drop in the water causes a ripple effect. Positively, hopefully. Children, teens, and adults are suffering needlessly every day from mental illness. We are not fulfilling our true potential because of the stigma. People are dying. No, people die every day. You don't think about this, but people commit suicide every day. I have a friend who said that he's thought about suicide every day for 25 years. That is not okay. Some acquaintances of mine, I would have recently. I heard them say that people, like when you have problems or when you're complaining about problems online, possibly of the mental health sphere, said, "Oh, man up, suck it up, figure it out." That minimizes what depression is and mental illness is. In a very surreal moment earlier this year, I spoke to a musician, who was a friend and a ally and a contemporary of Kurt Cobain. He knew Kurt Cobain well. He saw his rise and he saw his fall. And I don't think he suffers from depression, but I told him a little bit about my circumstances, and I told him about how people say "man up" and "suck it up." And I told him my response to those people. I said, Kurt Cobain was not a man because he didn't seek help for his addiction and depression. He's dead. That's the plain truth. I want to support ADAA and Schizophrenics Anonymous, which started in Metro Detroit, to take their important work to the next level. Just to drive this point home, anxiety disorders affect 40 million Americans. Only 1/3 are treated. The CDC reports that 10% of Americans suffer from depression. We need to figure out the genetic and environmental causes of serious mental illness like schizophrenia. Early diagnosis and treatment are essential. There needs to be no more stigma. Whatever ails you, physically, mentally, emotionally, we need to just take care of it and treat each other as peers and brothers and sisters like we know we are. Schizophrenia is in all societies in the world, affecting 51 million people worldwide, 2.2 million in the USA. 100,000 people are diagnosed each year with schizophrenia in the USA. And the schizophrenic population has higher rates of homelessness and incarceration. I think I might be able to get through this without crying because I've cried a lot. Now I'm ready to work. Alright, the Detroit Fest. Once funded and once I get everything rolling, I will hire talented friends and people in Detroit. Let's just call them friends I haven't met yet. I know people in the Detroit music and art scene and have connections to people in the entertainment business around the world. Please donate and help me network. If you know anyone, please send them my way. Friends and family, if you believe in me, Stephen Cramer, your friend and or family. I like to think if we're family, we're also friends. Please donate and also pass this Indiegogo campaign on to your network of contacts. Every dollar raised will be valued. Be a friend of the Detroit Fest, and you will get special thank yous, as are laid out on this Indiegogo page. Please help. Your support will help make the Detroit Fest happen. I want to share with you lastly this postcard that says, "The key to success is follow your heart." And I just want to say that the key to my success is you following my heart. I'm not going to cry. Thank you. I will see you at the Detroit Fest.